This is Tuesday, March 22nd. There are 10 days until WonderCon 2022 and 119 days until San Diego Comic-Con 2022. Welcome to SDConCast, the official podcast of the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog.
VANUHTEE go. Oh my god, I love LiveJournal, and my LiveJournal loves me. Current mood is hyperactive, current news lost refuse 73. I love the color scheme, it's pink and purple, it looks dreamy.
Good evening. I am your host, James Riley, and joining me on the podcast tonight, as always, Carrie Dixon.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in.
And also joining us tonight, Andy Wagner.
Hey, everybody. Hope y'all doing well.
All right. Welcome to SDConCast. We'll be taking comments and questions during the show, mostly at the end. You can tweet us at SD_comic_con or use the hashtag SDConCast. We'll also be keeping an eye on the YouTube live chat if you wish to comment there. So this is basically just a breakdown of the WonderCon schedule.
Yep.
So we may cover a few exclusives and other things about WonderCon and possibly a little bit of SDCC news.
But it'll be real fast.
So
yeah,
let's get started. And the first thing I have is a question of 2 years of virtual panels, right?
Yep.
We had two conventions, 2 full years of 2 WonderCons, 2 Comic-Cons of virtual panels. How many panels are virtual at this WonderCon?
I know because I counted. 2%, which is 5 out of 259.
That is not a lot. Now these
not a lot.
These are basically where they're just going to show what was pre-recorded on a screen at the convention itself.
Yes.
And so it's virtually
it's like
not virtual.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like sitting in a room together watching every virtual panel you know what a virtual panel is. So for anybody who did not see our tweet earlier today, so there was a lot of confusion over what on the programming schedule was virtual and not virtual. So again, for anybody who just hadn't kept up with that, let me go over it. When the schedule first dropped, every single panel on the schedule, said that it was a virtual event. And we were like, well, there's no way that's true. Yes.
Well.
Let's rent an entire convention center and just show panels on the screen.
Yes, there's no way that all 259 panels, plus the film screenings, are virtual. So then they took that wording away. And then nothing was listed as virtual. But we confirmed with the moderator of the Fear the Walking Dead panel that panel would be in fact virtual. So it was like, okay, well, some panels are virtual. Now it just doesn't say which ones are, but now they have actually added a verbiage that says this panel will be pre-recorded. And there are 5 panels that currently have that verbiage, which is Big Sky, Fear the Walking Dead, Tom Swift, Shudder's Cursed Films, and Making Magic in Legendary Young Adult Worlds and Beyond, which is like a Legendary Comics panel. I confirmed today with WBTV that their panels will not be virtual. They will be there in person. So I think there is a very strong chance that those 5 panels that currently say they are virtual will be all that is virtual. So
cool. That's good news.
Yes.
All right, so I guess we're just going to get right into covering the schedule. We're just going to cover the 3 biggest rooms. Now, they're not using the largest room, which was the arena.
Correct.
So the 2 biggest rooms they're going to have are 200A and B, which are in the new North building that they've used. I think they only used twice before lockdown.
Yeah, I know they used it at least once. Twice sounds right. The capacities on these are estimates, but I think they are somewhere in the ballpark between like 1,000 and 1,500. So,
and it's literally just how many chairs they decide to put in there.
Correct.
What the capacities. I think the max is around 1,500.
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right, so let's kick it off with room 200A, which is in the North building. And Andy, why don't you handle the panels that are in 200A on Friday?
All right. Well, let's see. Friday in room 200A, they're going to start off at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, of course, with the 22nd annual animation show of shows. That's Ron Diamond. He is the curator and producer. He's going to bring in the Animation Show of Shows, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. Excuse me. They're just going to bring a hand-picked selection of some notable shorts that you can watch there. Goodness, sorry, guys. At 4:30, they're going to follow that up, all you Tolkien fans, with Middle Earth coming to your TV this fall. So they're going to have the longest running Tolkien community, the OneRing.net, or Torn, if you want to call it that. They are having a few of their volunteers and staff members get together and talk about all the stuff that's going on with a lot of Tolkien stuff that's coming up in 2022, including Amazon Prime's Lord of the Rings of Power, WB's upcoming animated War of the Rohirrim. So there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about there at that panel. That'll be interesting. That it's going to be followed by Tubi. They were actually at Comic-Con Special Edition with their show, The Freak Brothers. They're going to be at WonderCon this time with Titanic 666. Not really much about that. Just cast and filmmakers are going to have a panel about the sci-fi horror film. Again, not really that much on that. I found the cast online. It wasn't really anybody that I was too familiar with, but it does look like a good show. So I might actually check that one out. And they're going to close off Friday with the DC Showcase animated shorts. This is going to be a Warner Brothers animation panel. Their home entertainment has continued their fan favorite DC Showcase. And they're going to bring in, they're going to spotlight, characters as Blue Beetle, The Losers, Kamandi, Constantine, House of Mystery. So yeah, looks like it's going to be a good Friday for Room 200A.
So James, correct me if you disagree with me. I don't think any of these, with the exception of the last panel, are going to be hard to get into at all. The DC panel might be. This is essentially the Warner Brothers Home Entertainment / WB Animation annual Friday night panel that they hold every WonderCon and every San Diego Comic-Con, with whatever new they have coming up. This one, I don't know. The shorts to me feel a little bit less like fanfare than the normal like movie premiere that they bring, but I still think this is going to be like a fairly packed house, just because I think this is a tradition for a lot of people. James, do you disagree?
That sounds pretty accurate. And if they do announce who is coming for the casting crew, then that may increase the attendance.
Yes.
And once people see that there's actually going to be casting crew there.
Yes.
Which will help fill that up even more.
But if you want to attend any of the others, I think you can probably just walk right in.
Most likely.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a problem.
So next up is the North 200B, right next door. And Carrie, why don't you go ahead and handle that?
Okay, I will. At 2 p.m., this is actually the first panel of the convention. Doors open at, I think, 11:30, but 2 p.m. is the first panel. It is Michael Grumley, UFO, Fact and Fiction, with best-selling author Michael Grumley. Then at 3 p.m. is Behind the Scenes with the Borg Queen from Star Trek Picard, which is actress Annie Wersching. And I am probably going to butcher many names on this podcast, so apologies now. But she will be joined by some of the prosthetic makeup team and the senior costume designer. So that'll be a fun look at Star Trek Picard and the Borg Queen. Then at 4 p.m. is the fun behind Funko, which will have a whole lot of the Funko team talking all about, you guessed it, Funko. At 5 p.m. is Attack of the Show documentary preview, which Attack of the Show, if you are not aware, was a G4 TV show that ran for many years. It was fairly beloved, and they have made a documentary. The panelists will include Chris Gore and the team behind the film, Bobby Schwartz, Austin Smith, and some other folks. You will get an exclusive preview of scenes from the documentary. At 6 p.m. is Nacelle, your new favorite toy company. So Nacelle is the company behind like the toys that made us, the movies that made us, all those kinds of things. This will be all about toys and an in-depth look at their upcoming slate of toys, including RoboForce, Power Lords, Marks, and more. I know on Sean Parks and Cons podcast, because they also did a schedule breakdown. He was really excited about this one. At 7:30 p.m. is the panel with Kevin Smith, which is interesting because they announced Kevin Smith would be there on Saturday only. And now his panel is Friday night. So that's interesting, but it'll be an hour of Kevin Smith just talking. I'm sure it'll be very similar to his annual San Diego Comic-Con panel.
Pretty much. It's Kevin Smith trying to get in as many questions, and every question he takes somewhere between 5 and 30 minutes to answer.
Yes.
Just be aware.
Yes.
Okay. And it will also be probably the most packed panel of the day, quite possibly.
Yes.
Probably. If it's not that one, I think it'll be the Board Queen.
I think there's a bunch of big panels here. I think the Board Queen one is going to be really big. Funko is going to be really big. Kevin Smith is going to be really big. So the one nice thing about Kevin Smith is there is like a 30-minute gap after that Nacelle panel, presumably so that they can get all of the small children out before they let Kevin Smith into the room.
Just come on. Jay and Silent Bob are family movies.
But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people. Like, I think those 3 panels in particular are going to be hard to get into. And if I wanted to get into any of these, I would probably go at least the panel before, if not 2. I mean, what would you say, James?
For those 3 that you mentioned, that may be the hardest: the Board Queen, the Funko, and Kevin Smith. Definitely be there at least during the panel before. Yeah. And again, keep an eye on lines and what you see on Twitter, and make your decision based on that.
Yes, I agree. Okay, and now we move on to room 207, James.
All right. So first up, 2 p.m., we have Diversity in Film, TV, Games, Comics, How You Can Help. It's a panel about the speakers are going to share their inspirational career paths into the entertainment industry. It's going to feature Newt Lee, the judo master actor from Peacemaker and Tool, the writer, and it'll be moderated by Kevin Winston. Next up, we have Voice Actors Improv Blastoff at 3 p.m. With host Lex Lang and some other voice actors. They're basically going to be doing just basically voice acting and just improv and things like that. So that should be pretty fun. At 4 p.m., we have Animation and Diversity in the Age of Black Lives Matter. Features a roundtable of guests who will be discussing their careers in animation, what has changed in the industry, and what things are hampering the inclusion of more diverse voices. At 5 p.m., we have Hip Hop and Comics, Cultures Combining, which basically is going to be pretty much what the title says, hosted by moderator Patrick Reed. And then at 6 p.m., we have Z2 Comics, the graphic album, which is going to feature the comic company Z2 Comics and what they have coming this year. I think that it's coming in a different panel, but this is the comic company that is producing the Cheech and Chong comics, correct?
Yeah, that's a different panel.
But it's a different panel, but they'll be covering the things that they're doing in the rest of the company in this panel. And that's it for that room. It's not a lot going on, not too many panels. It's a shorter day than the others.
I will say though, okay, so the Voice Actors Improv Blastoff. I mean, that's essentially cartoon voices just without Mark Evanier. And that panel is always much harder to get into than you would think. So that is probably the one panel that like I would probably plan on being there a little bit early for. Everything else, I don't think you'll have a problem getting in.
Right. Yep. All right. So it looks like just a few good highlights for the day on Friday, but having it open at 11:30 noon.
Yes.
And then not having a panel until 2 p.m. means you can get a couple hours of shopping in before you head up to a panel if you want to check out panels.
Absolutely. So do we want to talk dark horses per day, or do we want to do them at the end? How do you want to do it, James?
Oh, I have no idea. We're winging this after 2 years. We haven't done a scheduled podcast in 2 years.
You're lucky I remembered how to log on.
Yeah, right. Let's cover some. I mean, what do you want to do? I figure maybe at the end, but if you want to handle some for each day.
Let's do it by day. I mean, we're doing this by day. I think that's fine. I even went to the trouble of labeling yours. So
I know you did. Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay. Well, since this is my idea, I will go first then. I wanted to mention on Friday, there is a publishing works of Queer Triumph in a Heteronormative Society, which is basically a bunch of queer young adult authors. It sounds really interesting. That is at 2 p.m. in room 209. And then I also wanted to mention Unnecessary Debates is also on Friday. It's late though. It is at 8 p.m. in room 209, but this is basically a whole bunch of really funny people having some pop culture debates. They do this at San Diego Comic-Con as well. I've never made it to one, but I've always heard it's a good time. So if you have time, check it out.
All right, Andy, why don't you go next? You got one?
Honestly, I think my my dark horse is going to be the OneRing.net panel, the Tolkien panel for Friday. I think there's a lot of Tolkien stuff coming out this year, not only from Prime, but from there's a WB one too. So you got two studios producing Tolkien stuff. It'll be interesting to see both takes on Tolkien. So yeah, I think that'll be an interesting one to check out.
And they are very well connected with the people who make the stuff. So
right,
yes, they are.
What someone may decide to bring and show off at that panel, you never know. Mine, I'm gonna go with. I think we'll do this one just because of who's on it, and that's the How Comics Make Video Games Better Than Ever, which is, let me see if I can, room 207.
Yeah.
Is that the right one?
207, 12 p.m.
12 p.m. Wait a second. Is that on Friday? No, that's not on Friday.
Oh, that's on Saturday. Yeah.
You labeled it wrong.
I did.
Oh, no. Okay, then
All
I'm
right.
going with this one. All right. No big deal. 300B, Comic-Con Museum from Sensational to Amazing. That's going to be at, what time does it say it's going to be at? 3 p.m.? 2 p.m. Starts at 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
They're going to basically just be talking about the museum, the Comic-Con museum that is going to be officially grand opening during Comic-Con this year, but is now open. It soft opened in November. And they're going to have Rita Vandergaw and Eddie Ibrahim and Chris Ryle there, plus some other special guests to talk about what's coming up at the museum. And apparently they're going to make a very special announcement. So if you're interested in what's coming up at the museum for the grand opening, it's possible they may announce it there. So that's something that you might want to check out.
I think that's great. This might also, as you have just seen us having technical difficulties with the schedule, this might also be a good time to mention that Event Any is not so user-friendly. It has a lot of weird little quirks, like it displays the time in your local time zone for some, not all. And it's just not the greatest. So what we did for your ease is for the three big panel rooms that we are discussing, we have like listed out, here's this room for the day, here's the order that the panels are in, and hopefully you find that helpful.
Yeah. Otherwise, just, you're just going to have to go through the schedule and in one. I mean, I found it the easiest way to do that thing is to just have it as the list of panels and just go and scroll. And when you see a title that might be interesting, click on it and open it up the link in a new tab and just have all of them open so you can read them all and then figure it out from there. Unfortunately, that's the only way now that they're not using Sched. We don't know why, but hey, go back to Sched.
Please.
Please.
Pretty please.
Okay.
Now
okay.
On to
Saturday.
North 200A. Let's just start again from North 200A, and I think we're just going to each handle the same room. So Andy, that's up. You're up.
All right. Coming up to bat, we've got from Disney Plus, behind the scenes of The Quest. Honestly, I wish I knew more about this show. I have seen like stills, previews, and stuff like that, but not too familiar with it. But you're gonna have some of the producers. They're the same producers who did Lord of the Rings, Amazing Race, Queer Eye. They all joined forces, created the series, and it's going to talk about bringing the fantasy world to life, really, in the Quest. So then that is going to be followed by Meet the Hardy Boys Inc. from 12 to 1, which is coming from Hulu. This one is going to have the stars Rowan Campbell and Alexander Elliott, along with some special panelists. So let's call that one maybe a you might want to check that one out, and if you're looking for more of the cast there. That's going to be from 12 to 1 again, and then right after that from 1 to 2 there's a Naomi special video presentation Q&A. This is the DC drama Naomi, and they're excuse me, like it says, we're going to have the video Q&A. You're going to have the let's see here, the series star Casey Wallfall and additional members of the cast and creative team who are going to do that Q&A for you. And then you're going to get into some of the bigger ones. Starting at 2 to 3 is Superman and Lois special video presentation and Q&A. This looks like it's going on from WB. You got stars Tyler Hoechlin, Elizabeth Tulloch, Jordan Elsas, Alex Garfin, Eric Valdez, Indy Navarrete, Wole Parks, Taylor Buck, Sophia Hamsick, and Dylan Walsh, and Emmanuel Tricky. I hope I pronounced that right. But yeah, this one, it actually tells you who's going to be there. I would actually just go there for Elizabeth Tulloch. I loved her in Timeless. Speaking of Timeless, that the Board Queen was also in Timeless, so I'll probably be in that one too. So
I don't think that this does confirm the cast that's going to be there. I think it's just the cast includes these members. So I think we are actually still waiting to see which cast members show up, but it will be in person, so there will be some cast there. So
yeah, I didn't see anything. This is a virtual panel, so any or all of these people might be there. So
yes,
if they are, hey. Next from 3 to 4 is Murder Mystery in Montana, the World of Big Sky. This is one of the pre-recorded panels that Carrie mentioned earlier. No idea if anybody is actually going to show up in person. Can't say yes or no one way or the other. Probably not, but it's 2022. Anything can happen, I guess. But if you're familiar with the TV show Big Sky on ABC and Hulu, that they're going to have a pre-recorded panel based on that show. Then we're going to get into the Prime Video panels. Starting at 4, we've got Undone, Prime Video's latest one, starring Rosa Salazar, Angelique Cabral, and Constance Marie. They're going to be joined by the co-creators and executive producers Kate Purdy and Raphael Bob Waxberg from BoJack Horseman, and director executive producer Hisco Hulsing. They're going to have a special screening and Q&A, so that means that chances are you're going to see at least part of, or maybe just about all of the first episode. It's usually what that means, so fingers crossed. And they're going to follow that up. The last Prime panel is going to be The Boys Presents Diabolical. If you guys are fans of the Boys series like I am, love it. They had their animated series out this past year. Kind of a breakaway, but sort of a series spin-off type thing. They had an Aquafina episode. They had a bunch of really, really good guest stars. And what I loved was that the actor who portrays Black Noir did just about every voice for a couple of the episodes. So they let him talk. But they're going to have a panel Q&A, at least with the executive producer and the supervising director. But, with the Boys, you never know who's going to show up. So somebody could pop in. And they're going to end the night from, that's going to be the last panel that ends at 6. Then at 8:30 to 11:30, that is the room where they're holding the WonderCon Masquerade. So hopefully you guys got your tickets for that yet. And yeah, that is it for 200A for Saturday.
So again, I think several of these are going to be hard to get into. Mostly that Superman and Lois, and I think the boys Diabolical will also actually be fairly packed. So again, this room holds between 1,000 and 1,500. If I wanted to get into this panel, like if I wanted to make sure that I got it in, I would probably head there like sometime in like 2 panels before. So if I wanted to go to Superman and Lois, I would show up sometime during Hardy Boys is what I would suggest.
And if you want to get a good seat close to the front, I would show up during the Quest. You know,
I think
or just show up first thing and just line and get there if you want really near the front.
Yeah, sure. And I will also say the WonderCon Masquerade has a lot to live up to after the Comic-Con Special Edition Masquerade had John Cena show up. So
oh yeah.
Yes. Okay, over in North 200B at 12:30, we have What is the Best Superpower, which involves a whole lot of the WonderCon special guests actually discussing what is the best superpower. At 1:30 is the effects of Doctor Who. You can do this, and they've got a whole bunch of FX people from movies like Titanic, Inception, Independence Day, iRobot, Star Trek First Contact, and they will show you a clip from classic Doctor Who, and then they will basically tell you how you can recreate that in your own home. So I think that sounds kind of cool. At 2:30 is the 30th anniversary celebration of X-Men the Animated Series, which has the original showrunners. That will be fairly popular. At 3:30 is If Bigfoot is Out There, Meet the Team That Will Find Him, which is the Expedition Bigfoot team, talking about Bigfoot basically, and you'll get a sneak peek from the new season on Travel Channel and Discovery Plus. At 4:30 is Fear the Walking Dead, which is one of the other pre-recorded panels. We do not know which panelists will be on the Zoom, which is so weird to me. I'm like, surely if it's pre-recorded, it's even easier to be like, these are the people who we have recorded, but I guess not. At 5:30 is the X-Men fandom panel, which will have like Larry Houston, who is the producer and director of X-Men the Animated Series, character designers, all kinds of folks. And there will also be a giveaway. Audience members will receive a WonderCon exclusive print by Marvel artist Luciano Vecchio. That was really popular at Comic-Con Special Edition. At 6:30 is the panel that James was talking about earlier, which is the other Z2 Comics panel, Back in Smoke, 50 Years of Cheech and Chong, and Cheech and Chong will actually be there to talk about their first ever graphic novel. At 7:30 is Olympia with a Vengeance, WonderCon premiere screening, and this will be a screening of the film and a talk with some of the cast members and the folks behind both the film and the comic. You will also get another giveaway here. They will be giving away a free print by Bayani Art. And you'll also get to watch the movie. So that is 200B.
That's good panels.
Yep.
Far out, man.
So
yeah.
I think that the X-Men panels will be really popular.
Yep, I think so too.
And I think that that Cheech and Chong one's going to be pretty popular too.
I think so too.
I mean, you know, of course, it depends on the age bracket of who's attending WonderCon this year as to whether it will be. But
yes, but I think yes. But I think
sorry, just remember California is a legal state, so might be a bigger crowd.
Yes, at the very least, though, I think those two X-Men panels are both going to be packed. Because like I said, the X-Men fandom panel, at least a Comic-Con Special Edition, was like seriously packed. And a lot of people didn't make it in. So with the Fear the Walking Dead being pre-recorded, I would expect that will be a very good break in the day.
so that anyone who wants to see something after that will not have to be waiting around for most of the day. You can come in probably during Fear of the Walking Dead for the X-Men fandom panel and be fine.
Yes. I think those giveaways also help pack those panels.
Free stuff. Who doesn't want free stuff?
Exactly. All right. Room 207. Take it away, James.
Room 207 starts early at 10 a.m. with bringing Spider-Man and Batman to life through VFX, and it has a bunch of visual effects producers from a lot of major stuff like the Batman and Spider-Man No Way Home and Moon Knight. And they just go into how they create the VFX, show behind the scenes stuff on how they create those movies. At 11 a.m. is Celebrate Extreme Studios' 30th anniversary with Rob Liefeld, the always exciting and sometimes controversial Rob Liefeld. He's going to be discussing the studio that he created 30 years ago when Image Comics was launched, and talk about the history of all of the titles that came out at that time. At noon, we have How Comics Make Video Games Better Than Ever, with panelists including Chris Metzen and Flint Dilley, the writer, and other guests. We have at 1 p.m. Spotlight on Kevin Eastman, who's always a great panelist. We'll be joined by Ciro Nieli, the 2012 TMNT animated series. I don't know what they did, but they're going to be joined by someone from that series. But Eastman, the co-creator of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and just a guy who does all kinds of different things and has a lot of upcoming stuff. So he's going to talk about all of it. And then at 2 p.m., Ashley Eckstein will be there along with a bunch of Hot Topic folks and the 2021 Her Universe Fashion Show winners to discuss, how they make stuff for Hot Topic and give a little bit of information about what's coming up for the Her Universe Fashion Show at Comic-Con in July.
And you can also find some information about that upcoming fashion show on our website as of this afternoon. So
at 3 p.m., Hot Topic and Her Universe is back for another panel with a first look at their new Studio Ghibli collection. At 4 p.m., the Array Crew, creating inclusive film and TV sets around the world. This is a company, Array Crew, founded by Ava DuVernay, to help create and get jobs to make production sets around the world inclusive, basically. And they're going to talk about their job and how they do that. At 5 p.m., we have I Am No Man, the Women of Middle Earth. And it's going to be a bunch of folks discussing, Lord of the Rings, basically.
Yep.
That's about
women
it.
Women and Lord of the Rings. There you go.
There you go. At 6 p.m., we have Law of Peacemaker with a bunch of attorneys and offer their legal analysis of the series. And it's brought to you by the Legal Geeks. And these can always be a bit fun, but if you've seen Peacemaker, you know that there is nothing legal about that show.
This panel sounds so fun, though. Like, it really does.
I went to this panel in 2019. It was that year. It was
was it The Mandalorian?
No, it was Droids in the Cantina.
Droids.
Yeah, it was the Droids in the Cantina. Was it discrimination? So it really was a very fun panel. So Law of Peacemaker, yeah, that should be good.
At 7 p.m., we have Bat in the Sun. They discuss their award-winning show, Superpower Beatdown, along with their upcoming projects. At 8 p.m., we have Marvel Cinematic Universe TV Battle Brackets, and that includes basically some guys hanging out to discuss the Marvel live-action TV shows and which one's the best, and they use the Battle Bracket system to figure that out. And they will, of course, be asking for audience participation and may have some surprise guests.
So I don't think we said this at the start, actually, but room 207 seats about roughly like 780, 790. Do you see any problems getting into any panels this day?
There's a chance the Rob Liefeld panel will be very packed because, of course, he is the co-creator of Deadpool.
Yep.
And he's been around comics for, I would say, close to 40 years.
Yep.
So he's very popular. And, of course, Eastman is always popular. Her Universe is always popular. I don't know if any of these are enough to fill the room and also a lot of these do not have a lot of crossover.
Yes,
So
I
the
agree.
rooms will be emptying a lot between. So I don't think there's anything here except for Liefeld and Eastman that you may need to give a look into to see if it's filling up half an hour before the panel starts, maybe an
Yeah.
hour if you're worried.
Yeah, I was going to suggest like half an hour. So I agree with that. Okay, shall we do our dark horse picks?
Sure.
Andy, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. I think one of the dark horse picks for Saturday is going to be Nerdy Finance, tax tips to keep your money in room 211. You know what? If you want tax tips, talk to nerds. Be honest. Seriously. I know nothing about money, but if I want to know about taxes, I'm going to show up at that one. And then I think Law of Peacemaker is going to be a dark horse just because John Cena likes to show up. He's kind of like the new Liam Shatner. He's kind of like in everything. So I think that there might be a chance you see John Cena somewhere around there. But yeah, I think Nerdy Finance is definitely a good dark horse.
Speaking of that Law of Peacemaker panel, real quick, Karen Session just said in the chat, Legal Geeks also did mock court martial of Poe Dameron in 2018. It was full. The panel at Comic-Con Special Edition was very close to full. So those panels might be a little bit harder to get into than you would think.
Uh-oh. You going to do your dark horse now?
Sure. Okay.
On that note.
On that note, okay, 12 years ago, my friend Sarah went to Klingon Lifestyles and was like, this is freaking amazing. And every year I'm like, I'm going to go to this. It's literally like they put on a play in Klingon, okay? But this year I'm like, I am determined. I'm going to make it to this thing. It is 7:30 in room 213 AB. It sounds hilarious. I've always heard good things. I'm going to make it this year. I am.
There you go.
Now, if you don't speak Klingon, do they put the translation up above on that little screen?
I think
I
you get it
don't-
from context.
Yes. Yes. I think so as well. So yeah, that is my very dark horse panel.
There you go. So I wanted to point out, I mentioned it about how comics make video games better than ever, that one of the panelists is Flint Dilly, or Flint Dill, whatever, how you pronounce his name. But he was one of the original writers / creators of the Transformers cartoon, I think, back in the early mid 80s. And so if you are a fan of that, maybe you can go in there and ask him a few questions about that. I mentioned that because I am a fan of that. So I wanted to, my dark horse is, if you are interested in, it's in room 300D at 3:30. It's the Star Wars and Fandom, the early days. And I've seen this panel. I think he has done this at a few different shows. And this guy, Craig Miller, was the original director of fan relations and a publicist on Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. And he has a slideshow and stories about the early days of before and during and then after Star Wars came out, and all the things that they did to get fans involved and how they kept them involved. And it's pretty fun, and it's a lot of information. It's got some pretty cool behind the scenes stuff. So I would check that one out if you have some time.
Okay, shall we move on to Sunday?
For sure. Andy, North 200A once again.
All right. Sunday, live at the Anaheim Convention Center in Anaheim, California, just across the street from Disneyland. You can find at 10 a.m. in room 200A, the Bob's Burgers movie. So you've got the Bob's Burgers creators and cast come together for this first look at the Belcher family's jump to the big screen. So this is actually saying that it looks like the creators and cast are going to be there. So if you're a big fan of Bob's Burgers and you want to see the cast, looks like that's going to be there. Followed by the first look at Tom Swift at 11 a.m. This is another one of the pre-recorded panels. It's going to be the cast members of the CW show Tom Swift, just giving a first look at the series. Followed from 12 to 1 by Woke, which is an advanced screening of the Hulu original comedy series, season 2, followed by a Q&A with cast and executive producers. You're going to be, let's see. The screening will be followed by a conversation with series star Larmone Morris, T. Murph, and Blake Anderson, with co-creator and executive producers Keith Knight and Marshall Todd, along with executive producer and showrunner Anthony King. That looks like a really good one. Followed from 1 to 2 by Kung Fu special video presentation and Q&A. So if you hear that grasshopper by your foot, you will hear this video presentation Q&A. Hopefully some of the cast will also be there, but like we said before, it's no guarantee. So let's see that. Yeah, that one's at 1 to 2. This is followed by Q&A, and yeah, join the cast, participants to be determined. So not sure who's going to be there yet. That's going to be followed from 2 to 3 by TV Guide Magazine's 2022 Fan Favorites, Warner Brothers Television Showrunners Edition. Now, if you've ever gone to any of the TV Guide panels ever at Comic-Con, WonderCon, whatever, you know there's some of the best ones around. This one is definitely one of the best ones because I love the TV Guide panels. It's just like it says, going to be Warner Brothers Television. Let's see here. It's going to be moderated by TV Guide Magazine senior writer Damian Holbrook. And the panelists are going to have just a varied group.
I would assume that any of the WB shows that have other panels during the con, the showrunners of those shows will be on this panel.
Right. For example, Superman and Lois.
Naomi,
correct. Yep.
Kung
So
Fu,
if you're fans of those CW, WB shows, chances are they might have somebody there. And they're going to finish out Sunday from 3 to 4 with another pre-recorded panel, and that is the one from Shudder's Cursed Films. I caught a bit of season 1 of that. They go behind the scenes of movies that are supposedly cursed. People have wild tales about stuff that went on behind the scenes. This year, they're doing Rosemary's Baby, Stalker, The Serpent and the Rainbow, Cannibal Holocaust, and The Wizard of Oz.
One of those movies doesn't quite fit the list.
Believe it or not, there are creepy stories behind The Wizard of Oz, and some people have told them to me, and it's like, oh my God. So if you're a fan of like really creepy stuff from behind the scenes, Cursed Films is a really good series to watch. This is a pre-recorded panel that just might be worth showing up for because they might show you, why Wizard of Oz is on that list. But yeah, Rosemary's Baby, Serpent and the Rainbow. I can only watch those when I'm having a good day because those still scare the crap out of me. But yeah, these are some really good panels to finish out WonderCon with.
I think that Bob's Burgers movie is going to be packed to the gills.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
I mean, the good news is it's the first panel of the day. So if I was a Bob's Burgers fan, I would definitely show up early. I mean, it won't be that bad of a wait because you don't have to sit through anything really boring. You don't have to sit through something you hate. But yeah, so, I think that panel's going to be huge.
All right. So a Sunday badge is only $45, right?
That sounds right. Sure.
Okay. $45 to get you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. I've been dying to say that.
The rest of these panels, I mean, I think they will be close to full. I don't know that any of these are going to like pack the room. And I think that after Bob's Burgers, there's going to be like a mass exodus.
Well, the panel right after is a pre-recorded, so I assume that, and then people will filter in for the other ones.
Yes,
as they go.
Yes, but yeah, like I said, if I wanted to see Bob's Burgers, I would get there early. I think that one's going to be really freaking great. So moving on to North 200B at 11:30, we have Robotech, The New Beginning, which is the Harmony Gold team talking about Robotech merchandise licenses and their new partnership for future Robotech with Funimation. At 12:30 is 100 years of visual effects. I like this description. Literally, the description says, this title is alive. Visual effects have actually been around for 115 years. So that's cute. But the very people who invented the visual language of film developed the effects to tell the most fantastic stories. And Jeffrey Mark from The Orville and Raised by Wolves takes you through a historical journey through the beginning of film until today. At 1:30 is William S. Clausen, USO History and Fiction, which is unidentified submerged objects and their history in America. At 2:30 is It's Morphin Time, celebrating 29 years of Power Rangers. And you can come and celebrate with some of the actors from the franchise, including Jazz Baduwala. Again, I'm going to butcher these names. Abraham Rodriguez, Brennan Maya, Cameron Jibo, and Ciara Hanna. At 3:30 to 5 is Dr. Horrible Sing-Along blog, which is the annual screening of Dr. Horrible. And you can come and sing along. And yeah.
That's it.
That does it for 200B. I do not think any of these are going to be bad to get into.
No,
I mean,
probably not.
No. I just don't.
There
Okay.
will be people there, but you do not have to get there early.
Yes. Not 1,500 people,
No.
I don't think. Okay. Room 207. Close this up,
207.
James.
10 p.m. No, it's 10 a.m.
10 a.m. I'll fix that.
Rhapsody PR's 14th annual Behind the Music panel. Composers give you behind the scenes look at what goes into creating scores, and it's people from movies or shows such as Halo, Star Trek Picard, Kung Fu, The Proud Family, Bullet Train, and The Book of Boba Fett. Those are always cool. Talking music. At 11, we have Ted Lasso, The Hero to Believe in. That is a discussion panel about Ted Lasso. It is not a Ted Lasso will be there panel.
Correct. It is not affiliated with the show. Yeah.
At noon, we have How to Create Your Own Novel from First Idea to Publishing. And that is with the Winter Twins and Todd McCaffrey discussing getting yourself published. At 1 p.m., we have Taking Behind the Scenes Look into TV's top sci-fi fantasy shows. And that is with the filmmakers from VFX studio Crafty Apes, includes Brandon Nelson, Molly Pabian, Alex Knudsen, and Tim Ledoux. They basically are going to show off some stuff from some visual effects from a lot of the top shows like Foundation and What We Do in the Shadows and Upload. At 2 o'clock, we have Law of Star Trek. Again, another Legal Geeks type panel where they're going to be discussing Star Trek and what, all the different things that you can find with the legal things in Star Trek. And then we have 3 p.m. Alien franchise and how Ripley set the standard for strong female characters. And that is with Gareth von Kellen-Bachnoff and Victor and Juliet Calderon. Look at the enduring appeal of Alien and how Ripley set the standard for strong female characters. And then wrapping it up will be 4 o'clock, The Future of Doctor Who, which will be moderated by Sandro Manetti from CNN and will feature some cosplayers and others talking about what they hope to see or what they expect to see coming up in Doctor Who in the future. And that's it.
That's it. All right.
Again, I think that none of these are going to be
Hard to get into.
to get into. So I would expect just, if you want to go to one of these, show up a few minutes before and walk in.
I agree.
So we had a question before we do our dark horse picks for Sunday. We had a question from this is my show Industries as a first time WonderCon goer. Is there a queue hall, or what's the situation in the morning? If I remember correctly, I think there was a inside queue hall, depending on what they're making use of and what they're not this time. Will be up in the air as to where everyone's going, but there will be signs and everything. And I think the queue for the north building is separate from the queue for other rooms if they are above the main exhibit floor. So you may have to head over to the north.
That makes sense.
building,
That makes sense.
which can be reached both from ground floor from outside and from a walkway on the second floor coming from the main building over to the north building. So let's do dark horses. And I'm going to go first because I want to make sure I get this one. And that's Talk Back.
I mean, I think that's the only dark horse on Sunday.
Right. Stole it. I don't even know what room it's in because I don't have it up on my screen. It's just, you'll find it. It's
room 213 AB.
There you go. What time?
3:30 to 4:30.
All right. This is where the people who run WonderCon and Comic-Con will be taking your questions about the show, what you liked, what you didn't like, suggestions, comments, whatever you feel like asking or telling them. This is your time. And I think that it might be after 2 years, there may be a lot of pent up comments and suggestions coming. So
especially in this year of change.
Yes. So I would say there might be some interesting things going on. I mean, it's always interesting to be there and hear what they have to say about, how they run things, or if they answer questions about why things are done a certain way. But in this case, I think it may be, I don't know, a little bit more.
Please, anyone go ask about events. When is my scad coming back?
Yeah.
How much money do we personally have to raise for you, Comic-Con, to get my scad back? Like, let's start a GoFundMe here. Yeah.
So that's it. I don't know if there's any others that you guys wanted to mention.
No, I think that's literally the dark horse for Sunday is Talk Back. Yeah.
Not really a dark horse, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk like general impressions of the schedule, because I know what I think, but I'd love to hear what you guys think.
To me, it felt like just a smaller version of the normal WonderCon schedule. I mean, at least in general, because it seems like there's fewer panels. They're not using the arena. So it just feels like a slightly scaled down version of WonderCon, which I think is exactly what we were expecting. So There's nothing surprising about it to me.
See, I actually was really surprised because I was pretty much expecting it to look like Comic-Con Special Edition, in that Comic-Con Special Edition, yes, we got John Cena, but John Cena was a special guest not listed on any panel. I mean, there basically were like no TV or movie panels like really at Comic-Con Special Edition. And we've got a bunch here. I mean, especially for like WonderCon, like I agree. I feel like overall there are probably less panels, like if you compare, but considering like I was expecting when we got those 2 Amazon panels announced, I was like, oh, that's it for like the TV and movies for WonderCon. Like we're done. But we got so many more. So I actually was like really pleasantly surprised. I think considering the state of the general world and conventions, I feel like they got like some really good gets. And
honestly, I think that the TV/movie list is roughly on par with a normal WonderCon year, actually.
Yeah, I think so too. And again, like for 2022, that is nothing to sneeze at. Like I think just like getting things back to that level, like, is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
So I'm thoroughly pleased. Like I'm really happy with it. I'm excited. Andy, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think the schedule is a lot better than I expected it to be. I think there's a lot more big ticket items that I didn't expect there. And I agree. I think managing expectations, we shouldn't expect to see a full-fledged WonderCon so soon after, if you want to call it the end of the pandemic. I don't even know if we've reached that yet, but people are relaxing restrictions, so I guess. But yeah, after 2 years of nothing, this is an amazing schedule, and I really think that we're going to have a great time.
Yeah. Real quick, my show industry said no love for Mark Bernardin's panel on Friday. He does have a panel he's talking about. I believe it's his new graphic novel, which is in part about autism, because his son, I believe, has autism. I'm sure it's going to be great. There are a ton of really cool panels like all over the schedule. We only talked about the 3 main rooms, and then we picked like a couple of dark horses, but truly like spend some time looking over the schedule, because what appeals to the 3 of us may not appeal to you. Like something that we skipped over, like you may be like, oh my God, that's like my favorite panel ever. So yes, hopefully these podcasts when we do them are helpful, but you should always like look over the panel schedule and see like what you want to do. So
right. And just because we don't mention it doesn't mean that we don't like it. We're not showing it love or whatever. It just
if
there's
we
a
sat
lot
here,
of good stuff. Yeah.
If we sat here and we read the entire panel schedule, like we would still be here for when WonderCon started. Okay, so I was just gonna run real quick. Are you good with that, James?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. If for anybody who's been asking about off-sites, we have a list on our website. A lot of it is the cosplay photo shoots and meetups, but there are a couple of after parties. There's one on Friday, and then on Saturday it's just called WonderCon After Party, but it's at Ray's Comics and Collectibles, and they will have a whole bunch of movie and TV vehicles. It's from 6 to 10. You can go check that out on our website. For exclusives, there's a whole bunch announced, and there's a whole bunch more still to come. Toddlands exclusives just went live today. Dreamforger Studios has some really fun stuff, like he's bringing a coin for Ghostbusters, I believe. I don't know. Pulled up some stone coasters for The Witcher, and then I am so excited to see his WonderCon Convention Center print that he showed off a tiny little snippet of. The official WonderCon merch, you can check it out now. You can purchase most of it. There is a t-shirt of the Jen Bartel Wonder Woman program cover that you can only get in person at their booth. We've got Patrick Balsteros has revealed a whole bunch of his prints. If you're a Peacemaker, he's got an awesome Peacemaker print that will be there. He's got some Book of Boba Fett things. There's more still to come. In fact, I've seen what we are announcing tomorrow. Funko has a whole bunch of exclusives. Funko this year will be an in-person. Well, actually, I don't think they said the words lottery. So I'm assuming it will be like Comic-Con special edition in that it is a lottery, but they actually did not say the words. Fans will be given out each morning. So we'll have to see if that's lottery or first come, first serve. Fat Rabbit Farm, we showed off their exclusives this year. They will not be at the convention. They will be online. Those launched on Thursday. Fowler and Valium does some awesome like vinyl Sunye figures. They're really cool. She's also got a puzzle. Like I'm excited about that because the puzzle has like the Anaheim Convention Center on it. Like, come on. That's cool.
I might have to grab that.
Yes, go look at that. Go look at Valor Volume. Symbiote Studios. They've announced a couple of pens. Their mascot. Oh God, what's their mascot's name? Catnip Bravo. I know this. And you will have to play rock, paper, scissors with Catnip Bravo each day to try to get one of the pens. That's their whole thing. You play rock, paper, scissors with Catnip Bravo. And then just to round up some other news, the Her Universe fashion show submissions are now open for that. We just put a post up on our site today, and then submissions are open, and Andy has done a fantastic job of compiling those. And if you are interested in original art, you can go and grab one from the artist on the list. And that is my roundup.
Nice. We got some great artists on that list. I mean, some really great people, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, a couple of people in the chat are saying Funko they think are first come, first serve, but we will see.
Yeah. So have we covered all the SDCC news? I think we have.
I don't think there's much to. Okay, let me say this though, because we get asked this like 5 times a day. When you log in your member ID, you will not see your San Diego. That does not mean that you do not have San Diego Comic-Con badges. No one's badges are loaded into their member ID. It will be loaded at some point after WonderCon, likely late April to early May. Please stop asking.
But have
Well,
badges shipped yet?
Oh, hey, I'm wearing a very specific shirt.
Oh,
So will we have Prize Mule at WonderCon?
Yes, we will. We will have
Prize Mule
prizes.
rides again.
Prize Mule rides again. We will have prizes from Valor and Valium, from Toddland. I packed a whole bunch of random buttons and sorted things. We're getting some random stuff, quite frankly, that Todd is bringing us from a bazillion loot crates. But you will reap the rewards. So, yes.
So the calculator asked, do you think there's going to be a con suite at the Hilton at WonderCon? I mean, they do tend to do a con suite every year.
They do, yeah. I mean, I would think so. The place to check is going to be when you get your program. Flip through there. There's useful information in there.
Right. So with this podcast, we are back on schedule.
Yeah, we'll see.
sure.
I make no promises.
So we will be doing some kind of wrap up after WonderCon,
Or possibly at WonderCon.
or possibly at, and we'll just upload it sometime later.
Yes.
And then I'm guessing that we're going to get back onto our regular schedule after 2 years of virtual conventions, and sometime in May, either the very beginning or shortly thereafter, the very beginning of May, we will start a weekly podcast leading up to Comic-Con, covering all of the news, getting special guests, exclusives, and all that kind of information all the way up until Comic-Con 2022.
Yes. So what that means is when we start back up those podcasts in May, then if your Comic-Con badges are not loaded into your member ID, then you could ask me, what are they going to do it? But until then, please stop asking.
Don't panic.
Yeah, I know. Just the thing here is, do not expect any news whatsoever on San Diego Comic-Con until we get through with WonderCon. And people also keep asking about hotels. I would have theoretically thought that we would get hotels right after WonderCon, which is what they've done in the past. But they told vendors that they would not receive their hotel placements until like mid-April. And I bet you we don't get everybody else's hotels until that's done. So I actually think we'll get hotels like mid to late April, as opposed to like first or second week of April.
All right. So, and once that happens, everything will just domino from there. And we'll
Yes.
get all of the things like parking and
Yes.
that kind of stuff, all that kind of stuff.
You may have noticed in relation to this WonderCon that things are happening later than normal. That is a trend that will probably continue. Just because it's 2022 and let's just all have some patience.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
Karen asked, no early bird hotels. I really don't think they're doing early bird. I didn't think they would even before this. I mean, I think things are just too uncertain to be like, hey, book a non-refundable hotel months early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's the world we live in right now. So I don't think they're going to do early bird. But the good news is, even pre-pandemic, all the dust settles, there were always hotels available. So if you just need a hotel, just wait, or you can book like outside the system.
There was always hotels available. It's just, they won't be
Always.
next door. They'll be
No, but
10
early bird
blocks,
hotels
a mile
aren't.
away, whatever.
Early bird hotels aren't next door anyway. So
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So we will keep you updated on all of the forthcoming podcasts. And I think that just about wraps it up. Are we going to be doing a newsletter this year?
yeah, I mean, we did it for San Diego Comic-Con. I'll make Sarah do it. I don't do it. I'm just like, Sarah, you do it. Just like send me the proof. um, Xavier asked, after party from you all at SDCC 2022. Yes, that is the plan. Gary gone. I mean, as long as we can find a location, that is the plan. Because a lot of places closed down.
Yeah.
So, speaking of which, if you haven't heard the news, our beloved Tin Fish is about to be gone. So, and on that downer note,
but something's replacing it. It's not like the building's getting torn down, right?
No, it'll be a pizza place. Yeah.
I like pizza.
I love pizza.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So thank you all for joining us as we come back on schedule. Andy, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as SDCC Wacky Wags. And for the a little older folk, if you are interested in cannabis space, the community, industry, whatever, you can find me on IG and Twitter as SDCannaBlogger. And my podcast is Canna Bloggers Corner, where it's a semi-weekly podcast. So I'm trying to get that back on track, talking about the pandemic. But yeah, hopefully I'll get that back on a weekly schedule soon. Carrie, where can we find more of your work on the internet, please?
You can find me on Twitter at Carrie Dixon, if you can spell it. James, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me all over the internet at Dan Regal, and you can check out geekshotphoto. What is our website? geekshotphoto.com. It's been so long.
.edu. That's
we're all struggling here.
Where you can check out all the social media links of myself and my wife Beth, who is also the producer of the show. Thank you, Beth, for editing the show and doing all the little things that get this podcast into your ears.
Thank you, Beth.
Yes. We are on iTunes. If you'd like to subscribe, the links are up on the blog, or you can search for SDConCast. If you like what you've heard so far, please review us. We are also on Stitcher Radio. The link is in the show notes. And we also have a Patreon, which I think many of you actually who are listening right now are already some of our Patreons. And we thank you so much for your support. You help keep the lights on. All the money that we make goes back into this site. And we just really appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And if you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at sdcomiccon.blog@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sdconblog, or tweet us at sd_comic_con. Thank you all for listening, and everybody go
Shawarma.